The mansion on Oak Ridge Hill was the pride of the entire city. Tall marble pillars, golden gates, and a driveway long enough for a motorcade. To the outside world, Richard Bennett had everything. Money, power, a beautiful young wife, and a reputation as one of the country's most successful billionaires. But that evening, as his jet landed hours ahead of schedule, Richard had no idea he was about to witness something that would shatter his heart forever. He didn't call ahead. He wanted to surprise his family. It was his 10th wedding anniversary, and he had planned something special. What he didn't know was that back at home, a storm was brewing. Inside the grand Bennett mansion, Isabella, Richard's wife, paced across the marble floor. She was elegant and stunning, the kind of woman who turned heads wherever she went. But behind her beauty hid a temper sharper than broken glass. On the veranda outside, an elderly woman in a faded gray dress stood nervously with 3 little children, their clothes slightly dirty from the rain. The oldest girl clutched a small box wrapped in brown paper. "Please, madam," the old woman said softly, "we just wanted to see Richard. It's his birthday soon. The children made him something." Isabella sneered. "Your kind don't just walk into this house. Do you think this is a charity? Get off my property before I call security." The children looked frightened. One of them, a boy about 7, whispered, "Grandma, maybe we should just go." But the old woman shook her head. "I'm his son," she whispered. "He said we could visit any time." That sentence was all it took to light Isabella's fury. She grabbed a mop bucket filled with dirty water, the kind used for cleaning floors, and in one furious motion, she flung it at them. The dirty water splashed across the old woman's face and drenched the 3 children. They gasped. The little boy began to cry. "That will teach you to lie about being related to my husband," Isabella snapped. "Now get out." The gate guard hesitated, unsure what to do. Then, from outside the golden gates, came the low hum of an approaching engine. A sleek black Rolls-Royce pulled up quietly. The driver jumped out to open the door, but Richard stopped him. "No, I'll go myself," he said, smiling faintly. "I want to see the look on her face when she realizes I came home early." But as he stepped out, his smile faded. Across the driveway, he saw his wife, still holding the bucket, and in front of her, an elderly woman drenched in filthy water, clutching 3 terrified children. The scene didn't make sense at first. Then he saw the small girl holding the brown box, the same kind his late first wife used to wrap gifts in. His breath caught. He knew that box. He knew that woman. It was his mother, and those were his children from his first marriage, the ones he had kept in a quiet countryside home after his first wife passed away. For years, he had provided for them privately, afraid that Isabella's jealousy would cause trouble. He told her they lived abroad, but he always made sure they were cared for. Now, standing there in the rain, he realized his worst fear had come true. Richard's voice broke the silence. What is going on here?" Isabella froze, her face drained of color. "Richard, you're home early. I didn't know you were coming." He ignored her, his eyes locked on the trembling old woman. "Mother?" he whispered, stepping forward. "What happened?" She tried to hold back tears. "I came to see you, my son. I brought your children. They missed you. But your wife said we were trespassing." Richard kneeled, his heart pounding. He took off his jacket and draped it over his mother's shoulders. The children clung to him, crying softly. Then he stood, turning slowly to Isabella. "You poured dirty water on my mother?" he said, his voice shaking with anger. "And on my children?" Isabella's lips trembled. I didn't know they were yours. They just appeared out of nowhere. They looked poor. He cut in sharply. That's your excuse? She looked down, unable to speak. Do you remember the night you told me you wanted a husband who respected his mother? That's the night I thought I had found a good woman. But today, I don't even know who you are. Richard, please, she begged. I didn't mean any harm. He interrupted, his voice low and steady. No harm? You humiliated the woman who gave me life. You made my children cry. You've disgraced this home. The silence that followed was heavy. Only the soft sobs of the children filled the air. He turned to his driver. Take my mother and the kids inside. Get them clean clothes, give them food and a room. Then to Isabella. As for you, pack your things. By morning, I want you out of this house. She gasped. Richard, please, you can't just... Watch me, he said, because no woman who disrespects my mother will ever call herself my wife. That night, the mansion felt empty. The servants moved quietly, afraid to speak. Isabella locked herself in the bedroom, sobbing. She replayed everything, her words, her actions, that one terrible moment when pride won over compassion. In another part of the house, Richard sat with his mother and the children. They were clean now, wearing fresh clothes. His youngest daughter, Emma, climbed onto his lap and whispered, Daddy, are you angry with us? He hugged her tightly. No, sweetheart, I'm angry with myself. I should have protected you. His mother looked at him, eyes full of sorrow. My son, she made a mistake. Don't let anger destroy your peace. Richard sighed deeply. Mama, some mistakes are forgiven, but not forgotten. He thought back to his late first wife, Clara, the love of his youth. She had been humble, kind, gentle. Before she died, she made him promise one thing. Richard, no matter how rich you become, never forget where you came from. Tonight, he realized he had broken that promise. He had surrounded himself with luxury, but lost sight of the values that built it. By morning, the news had already spread. Billionaire's wife humiliates her mother and children. It was everywhere. Tabloids, gossip blogs, social media. Videos from security cameras leaked online. The internet was ruthless. Isabella tried to leave quietly, but reporters were waiting by the gate. She broke down in tears, begging for privacy. But the damage was done. Richard made no public statement. Instead, he focused on his family. He bought a new home for his mother and children, a quiet countryside estate where peace could finally return. One evening, as he tucked the children into bed, his mother placed a gentle hand on his shoulder and said, My son, you've done enough. Let her go. Maybe one day she'll learn. He nodded slowly. I hope she does, because pride destroys more homes than poverty ever could. Weeks later, a letter arrived at his office, written in Isabella's handwriting. He hesitated before opening it. Inside, the words were shaky and full of regret. Richard, I've lost everything, not because of you, but because of myself. I judged people by their clothes and forgot that love has no price tag. If you ever find it in your heart to forgive me, not for love, but for humanity, I'll be grateful. Isabella. Richard folded the letter slowly, his eyes softening. Forgiveness doesn't erase pain, he whispered to himself, but it ends its control. He placed the letter in his drawer, not out of anger, but as a reminder. Months later, the mansion on Oak Ridge Hill was alive again, not with luxury parties, but with laughter. Richard's children ran through the garden, his mother smiled in peace, and the air carried something money could never buy: warmth. Richard stood by the window, watching them, and said quietly, I left this house a billionaire, but I came back a father. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in gold. And somewhere in the distance, a lesson echoed. Respect is the true wealth of any home.